I said on the first day, one of the hardest things for almost all of the audiences, whether it's here in the seminar room or at one of the universities or at the TED Talk recently, knowing K-N-O-W, when to say no. And my advice, and now Steve Jobs said a long time ago, say no 1,000 times before you ever say yes. Most people just, wouldn't be smoking. My advice to the kids is say no, for the first year after the seminar. Just learn how to say no. And until you have a basis by which to judge by. And once you rotated some of your board members in and out, you really don't know. The best way to show control when you buy a business is fire somebody the first 5 minutes you own it. Doesn't matter who the fuck you fire. Boom, bitch, you're gone. Because none of you, unless you're hiding your leadership skills, you all got a putz about this long. And they will smell it when you walk in the room. Maybe not even a putz. How long are a clitori? Well, whatever they got, okay? But he listened, he went to all the meetings. And all the meetings that they're having aren't at convenient times. The name of the game, they used to tell me when I was with the Onassis people, the name of the game, he who makes the meetings regularly at the most inconvenient times wins. Remember I said about Doofus Test? Christmas Day, Hanukkah, Ramadan, Valentine's Day. Well, I can just tell by your look you don't want to go to meetings any of those fucking days. And if I could read that here, I can just see you guys beating out paperwork on Christmas Eve. Not. Do they still say that? Not. You know what I mean though, right? Okay. And now he's, but I told him now's the time to form his own private equity. He is hot. He is sizzling. He's like the only dick in town right now. And he could probably raise 2, 3, 4, 5 billion euro. And then now you do the spreadsheets. Look what we did in 19 months with nothing. What's the return on nothing? Infinite. It's infinite. And he's not the only one, but I mean, he was here 6 weeks ago, and he's just a regular guy. What's your takeaway or questions you have about the NEBIC? Yes, sir.
Was that his first roll-up?
Yeah. I mean, he was writing contracts for 30,000 euros a year. I mean, yeah, it was his first roll-up. Well, now he's done 5, but I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you start doing them, I mean, like a snowball. Just a regular guy, just a know-nothing Nimrod like you. We don't even show you the high-powered guys doing deals because you get scared. We want to show you all the guys with little, quarter-inch putts. If we showed you, because we got a bunch of guys like me too. Nobody coming to the seminars. We could show me, guys like me, every day, 3 a day, and then you'd all leave on graduation night like this. This is your tail between your legs. Jesus Christ. But I knew it was going to be a motherfucker. Jesus Christ, all these guys are assassin cocksuckers. See? So we don't even show you them. Questions about him. I mean, the kid did dynamite. It's like a 17-year-old kid, but I mean, he's 34, 35, but he did dynamite. He's the closest to the, not mean, average. Somebody asked me about average. He's the closest to an average guy that we have. Average. Yeah, question.
How did he find his equity partners?
He's got world-class board. His board, he didn't have to explain about. World-class guy, they heard, oh, I hear you're rolling up, what do you call it? He says, I'd like to be in there. He says, well, we're not looking for any more board members. How about money? Well, how much does it take to get in the game? A couple million euros ought to do it. People want to be, it's like when, not Uber was a shitty IPO. It's been a good IPO recently. Well, anyway, it's like when Goldman Sachs has 2 million shares to give out to preferred customers of an IPO. I mean, you want to get on that bus. So you leave an open account with the Goldman Sachs guys and say, well, get me whatever you can of that IPO or any IPO. And now that's why it'd be an ideal time for him to start his own. But putting together a fund in the EU is not a short-term deal. It'll take time. And so that's why he needs to be continuing his roll-up. Being in all the meetings, being on all the Zoom calls. But on one of the Zoom calls a few weeks ago, he was wearing a 3,000 or 4,000 euro sports coat. I could tell, which was probably more than his entire wardrobe before. And again, his wife is on board. I mean, she is the conductor of that motherfucking train. I mean, that spending train like nobody's business. She caught on just like she learned to put on lipstick. I mean, that's easy, that's easy. And that's how it is. Yeah, you gotta go to Yugoslavia tomorrow? Have a good trip, honey. You gotta go, have a good trip, honey. And that's how it should be. Now, does he look like a normal guy? Because he is, but he's a rich normal guy now. Rich normal guy, that's it.
What kind of clinic specifically?
Well, it's fertilization, whatever you call those things when you go and, yeah.
Well, the market's so small, it's so...
Oh, well, no, but there's only 41 hospitals in the whole goddamn country. And now he's going to other parts of the U.S. And historically, things that are run by doctors are normally run poorly. The doctors are shitty managers. It's not just because they are pleasers, because a lot of doctors go ahead, piss poor bedside manner, because they suffer from Jesus Christ syndrome, because they think they're gods and they think that all their decisions are good, when that's not true. They've got, they've got 200 doctors now, 200 regular staff, and managing 200 doctors is a bitch. I mean, you can't get 3 doctors to agree on anything, let alone 200.
What did he do with the senior management of the company?
Cut their heads off. Because the senior management are the ones that got their fucking deals in trouble. Now, you always think and you tell them our intention is not to make any drastic management change. Our intention is the operative, is not to make any drastic management change. And if your nose doesn't go like Pinocchio when you say that, it's our intention not to. But after you're in there 4.5 minutes, we now see that our intention was wrong to begin with, and we have to make some management changes. But remember, 95% of the time you're buying these things because it was piss poor management. So how are you now going to get the piss poor managers all of a sudden to become world-class managers? You're not. Maybe 1, maybe 2. But normally, the management team is pretty poor. Now, sometimes you'll get a second level of management that has just been waiting to have some, freedom and an opportunity, and then you let those kids have a go at it. But normally, the guys that got you in trouble aren't going to save the ship. Of course, now he's got notoriety. He's got the banks beating down his door. I mean, literally. And he came to the seminar in July 16, and he closed the first deal in March of 18, and he closed the second, third, and fourth, and fifth deal all in 18 to the beginning of this year. Because once the momentum gets going, he's a known commodity. And the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of this world all know him. And so they want him to do, and it wouldn't surprise me if I haven't asked him this, if it wasn't JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs' idea to start up a fund. Anything else about the young man? But I mean, it's great for me as his coach to see that. And even though he still seems really mild-mannered, he is Goliath compared to what he was 24 months ago. I mean, now he didn't look too Goliath there, right? Who's the little guy that killed Goliath? He looked like a baby David from before. And when he tell him about the picture, now I forget if he said rich and happy or happy and rich. I forget how he put it, but and again, I've never, maybe someday before I hang it up, I'll find somebody that got rich who wasn't happy. But heretofore, to date, as of now, I haven't met anybody like that. Even though money doesn't buy happiness, but that's how it's supposed to work. And he came back because, as he said, default's a bitch, and he just finished closing a deal, and default's a bitch because everybody, and like he said, it's tough when you're the only warrior on the field. And of course, when I look at him, he doesn't look too warrior-like to me, but he did what he had to do. He did what he had to do, and he followed the steps, and he just, he pushed back. I said on the first day, one of the hardest things for almost all of the audiences, whether it's here in the seminar room or at one of the universities or at the TED Talk recently, knowing KNOW when to say no. And my advice, now Steve Jobs said a long time ago, say no 1,000 times before you ever say yes. Most people just, they've been smoking. My advice to the kids is say no, for the first year after the seminar. Just learn how to say no. And until you have a basis by which to judge by. And once you've rotated some of your board members in and out, you really don't know. But the most important person on your board, your dean is your chairman. He's the most important, or she's the most important. And we do have some gal chairmen. Now, 25 years ago, we didn't have any gal chairmen. And now, we're probably 20-25% of the chairpersons, I think they're called. Okay. Anything else about Peter other than he did a dynamite job, and he's just begun. He's just on his way. He's going to be a super rich little shit. He is. But one of the things he said, for those of you that are listening, it was tough for me to be ruthless. And I look at your faces. Gee, I wonder if it's going to be tough for me too. Whereas I said on the film, that's never been my problem being, hard ass. It's never been my problem being hard ass. Well, before my dad passed away, and I used to tell him, I said, a lot of my success is because I'm a hard ass. And he looked at me and he said that he didn't understand. He was in his late 80s, and I said, yeah, you being hard on me makes it easier for me to be hard on other people. Yeah, he never commented, just kind of smiled. Okay, nothing else on Peter? Okay, YouTube, thank you very much.